Good evening and welcome to the first Drake Broadcasting System pre-show of the 2018 Drake Relays. I'm Emma.
And I'm Angelica. Tonight we'll be talking about everything you need to know before the official kickoff of this year's relays.
First, Norm Manderfield is sitting down with the Franklin P. Johnson, director of the Drake Relays.
Thanks, Angelica and Emma. I'm here with Blake Bolden, who's in his second year as director of the Relays. So, Blake, how has your experience of the Drake Relays, director of the Relays, been so far?
Yeah, Noah, thank you for having me on. It's going very well. Exciting time of year, very busy. Here, just a day and a half away from our first event, so it's an exciting time.
Yeah, and so last year was your first year. This year's your second year. What have the changes been so far from last year to this year?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did to start the year this year was an announcement to the high school division to really change how we qualify athletes and how those athletes are able to promote their participation in the Drake Relays. But really, with an event that's more than a century old, it's more about making tweaks to something that's already at a very high standard of excellence. So not a lot of wholesale changes, but just small improvements where we're able.
Yeah, and so you have two big events coming in this year. First time since 2005 they've had an invitational 100-meter race, and the first time since 2013 that you have an elite shot put competition. Why did you guys decide to bring those in this year?
Yeah, great questions, Noah. Those two events not only have a rich history here at the Drake Relays, but are really two of the most iconic track and field events. And it's the first time that we're bringing both of those events back since our partnership with Hy-Vee. So, for example, the men's 100, we're able to bring in a field that we've never seen assembled here in Des Moines before. The Drake Relays record is 10.01, so just over 10 seconds, that historic barrier. That record stood since 1976. We have 7 gentlemen in the field that have run faster than 10 seconds, including 7 Olympians, 2 athletes with their national records in this event. So it'll be 10 seconds that all the Drake students really don't want to miss.
Yeah, and when will that event be?
Yeah, that's right in the middle of our national broadcast window on NBC Sports from 2 to 4 p.m., and the men's shot put will take place then as well. That event features 4 of the best throwers in the history of the world, 4 of the top 16 ever, including Olympic record holder Ryan Krauser, who many here on campus remember. He came to Des Moines in January for a slam dunk competition in the basketball season. And at that point, we would have said that he was the best thrower in the world. But since then, Tom Walsh not only has won the indoor world championships, but he won the Commonwealth Games and has the farthest throw in the world since 1990. So we went from really promoting American and Olympic record holder Ryan Krauser to talking about the New Zealand shot putter who is now the best thrower in the world and number 4 all time. So it will be a shot put showdown that Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and I got to say, I saw that dunk contest, and he really slammed it down. It was really interesting. But going away from a traditional event, you also have a women's 400-meter wheelchair race and then a men's 100-meter ambulatory race. Why did you decide to bring those events in?
Yeah, that's right. So the Drake Relays, for more than a century has stood as a measure of athletic excellence in the sport of track and field at many levels: high school, university, collegiate, and certainly now in the 21st century professional, where athletes start their season every spring preparing for the next Olympiad. And this year we were proud to announce and renew and extend a partnership with U.S. Paralympics to an unprecedented level. We in fact have 4 Paralympic events with the ambulatory men's 100, men's 200, women's 100 wheelchair, and 400 wheelchair. So there will be, among those 4 races, there will be probably close to 24 athletes getting ready for the 2020 Olympics, or Paralympics, excuse me, in Tokyo. So it really is an opportunity to make the Drake Relays more inclusive while still preparing the world's best for the Olympics.
Yeah, and so where do you see this partnership going with the U.S. Paralympics in the near future?
Yeah, I think it's something that we can continue to identify those signature events, the ambulatory and the wheelchair events, but also to identify other athletes in other events. So one athlete that will be coming this year is the Paralympic world record holder for the mile. Mikey Brannigan is his name. He's the first Paralympic athlete to ever run 4 minutes or faster for the mile without the use of a wheelchair. So he's on the spectrum of autism, and actually will be joining us at the Grand Blue Mile for his first ever Open U.S. Championship. So he was the 2017 Paralympic Athlete of the Year. and a wonderful athlete that will compete alongside Olympic silver medalist Leo Manzano and 8-time NCAA champion from Kenya, Lawi Lalang. So the men's invitational mile will be very fast, and he'll be aiming for a new Paralympic world record. And then also in the men's discus, we have a Paralympian competing in an open competition there. 2 weeks ago, he set a world record in his category. So he has competes with the able-bodied athlete because he can throw it more than 65 meters, but he has a very unique throwing style due to his ability level. So it will continue to expand. It should be a wonderful partnership.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you guys have started that partnership. That's a really cool thing. But we always hear about the professional athletes that come in, the Olympians, but then we forget also that the Relays is a huge community event. High school teams from around the state and surrounding states come in. What are some of the steps that you guys take to build that kind of event for high school athletes to come in?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the first thing is just the rich history of what it has meant for Iowa high school students, and that really propels it every year, and how much it means for athletes across the state to come to the Drake Relays, compete alongside Olympic champions, Olympic record holders, and more, and on the biggest stage in our sport, or one of the biggest stages in the world for our sport. So it's an opportunity for those athletes to highlight their talents, and certainly at the university and college division, it's working alongside our coaches here at Drake and many others to continue to improve our meet and make sure those athletes get the competitive opportunities they're looking for.
Yeah, and so final question here. There's a lot of exciting things this year, but what are you most excited for in this year's Relays?
Well, every day I could give you a single most exciting thing, to be honest, but really that 10 seconds during the men's 100 with the opportunity to see 10 seconds broken for the first time in Relays history, that'll be pretty special. On Friday night, we'll have an American record attempt by Iowan Jenny Simpson, so it's a very different kind of excitement, but every single day there's something that will really draw the community's attention.
So I want to really appreciate you coming in,
lot,
Mr.
Noah.
Bolton, and I'm going to send it back to Angelica and Emma over there.
Thanks, Noah. Drake's Athletics isn't the only organization preparing for Relays. The Drake Student Activities Board has also been working hard to get ready for next week's activities. SAB kicked off their Relays events with Blitz Days last Wednesday.
From dreamy
That's who she's dreaming for.
to pipe dreams.
Drake. I know it's not going to be Drake, but I hope Drake comes back to Drake.
And a change of pace
Honestly, anybody not similar to the people we've had in the past.
to plain old favorite bands.
I am actually a big alternative guy, so Johnny Swim is a band of mine that I really like listening to.
Drake first years through seniors gathered in anticipation. Cue the drum roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time in Relays history, we have 2 artists!
Mark E. Basie and AJR.
We're really excited because they're a little bit 2 different genres, so we're hoping that it'll appeal to more students instead of just bringing like a full-on rapper like that's been done the last 2 years. So we're hoping students are excited and they'll come and enjoy both artists even if they think they might only enjoy one.
And the toughest part?
Keeping the secret was really difficult for me, especially when your friends are like really wanting to know.
Yeah, and our committee really wanted to know. They've been really great this year, and so they were like, tell us, we're on your committee, but we couldn't.
It'll be a concert like never before. But that was last year's theme. This time around?
Give it up for the Relays team!
Reporting for the Drake Broadcasting System, I'm Jerry Tetzloff.
The SAB Relays 2018 co-chairs are joining us today to tell us about the events they are hosting for Relays during the coming weeks. Over to you, Maddie.
Thanks, Angelica. Megan Mulligan and Caroline Sandusky are here with me to talk about the student side of Relays. So one of the biggest events of the year is definitely, the Relays concert. So can you tell us a little bit about the changes from last year's concert to this year's concert?
So this year we're actually having 2 artists, which is really exciting because in the past we've only had 1 artist and we've held it in the parking lot. And this year will be on Forest Avenue, so the venue will be a lot larger, allowing many more students and community members to attend the concert. Along with having 2 artists, it will be able to have a wider range for more students that may like one or the other instead of just liking one artist.
So you mentioned Forest Avenue. So where on Forest Avenue is that stage going to be?
It's going to be right outside Drake Stadium. So we're going to be closing Forest Avenue from 30th Street right up until the Bell Center, and it'll take place right there. So it'll be quite a big venue for students and then surrounding community come out too.
Awesome. So how do you think that location change is going to impact the relationship between, the artists performing and the students in attendance?
Well, in the past, it has definitely been a much more intimate setting because it was a smaller venue for everyone. And I think it will just bring more hype and more excitement for the concert and for relays because there will be so many more people that can attend it.
Well, speaking of hype and excitement, I know you guys offer up meet and greet passes for some students to meet artists. So can you tell us a little bit about how students are going to be able to obtain those?
I know that there are going to be some hidden around campus, so keep an eye out for that. There will also be able to win them. There are a bunch of events that Caroline and I are putting on this next week, and you can win them for prizes.
Mm-hmm. So, Caroline, we've had some kind of dicey weather this April,
Yeah.
So what are some of the backup plans that you have in case the weather gets more dicey?
Sure. Well, a lot of our plans include rain plans because we have to. So a lot of our events take place outside. So if anything happens, we usually move them into, I think Olmsted are a lot of our locations for events because they're so big and they have so many things that we have to be able to try and put on that we can't do outside. But as far as the concert goes, I'm not sure. That's not really our territory. So we don't know where the rain location would be if that were to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that point. But kind of on the lighter side, what are you both looking forward to this relay season?
I was abroad last year at this time. And so I am probably most excited just to be here to witness it again and to get back into the culture because this is one of the reasons why I came to Drake is because of the hype around relays, and this is the one thing that brings like the Drake community and Drake students together.
Mm-hmm. And you, Caroline?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I wasn't abroad last semester, but Megan and I have been friends since our freshman year here. We're both juniors now, so being able to actually experience it together once again is really cool. And we'll both be able to put on, we have 6 events next week that we have to put on for students, which is really awesome, and street paintings tomorrow. So her and I have been putting in countless hours this week for that. To see that street come alive will be really cool too.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the tips that you guys have for students who are just coming back from abroad or maybe are first years and have never experienced relays before?
I would say that you got to take everything, experience everything, because no 2 years will ever be the same. You'll have different experiences every year. And try to go to as many events as you can. This is like the one thing that defines Drake University, especially with street painting and how unique that is to our school, and just really being fully involved in this week because you only get out what you put in.
Mm-hmm. Well, you two, thank you so much for joining me. I know you guys are probably so busy with Painted Street being tomorrow. Back to you in the studio, Emma.
Thanks, Maddie. Student athletes prepare for relays differently than Blake Bolden, Caroline Sandusky, and Megan Mulligan. But for one athlete, this preparation is nothing new. The blue oval, Drake's track circling their football field, is the home of hurdles, Drake relays, and Mary Young.
The calm of the track, soon interrupted by the sound of feet. For the Drake track and field team, the Drake Relays is a chance for Drake athletes to compete with the best in the nation. Mary Young, a senior, is no stranger.
When I was in high school competing, I felt that Drake Relays was more important to me than state was, honestly, because that was when everyone could compete against, no matter if you were 4A, 3A, it was just everyone was there, and the crowd was always so amazing. So it was always a good experience for me.
Last year, in her best event, the 100-meter hurdles, she finished third. With these being her 7th and final relays competed in, she hopes to build on previous success.
I'm hoping this year I can make top 3 again and maybe win. That would be amazing for me too.
This is Noah Manderfeld reporting.
Wow, what an awesome legacy.
That's true.
I can't wait to see her perform this relays. I'm really looking forward to her events. It's really cool to see her involvement throughout high school and also coming into the Drake community.
Yeah, I agree. It's great to see amazing stories like these be put, out there, especially her being from Iowa and stuff. It just brings it all together.
All right. So, coaches are an integral part of an athlete's preparation for relays. So we have two coaches from the Drake University track and field cross-country team here chatting with Noah.
Thanks, Emma. I'm here with Mark Carroll, Director of Track and Field and Cross Country, and then Amy Rudolph, Women's Cross Country and Distance Coach. So this is the first year you guys are experiencing relays. What are some of the things that you guys expect heading into this year?
Well, I think we're just really excited to experience the whole week and everything that it offers. It's not just a track meet, like the girls said before. It's a community event, and we're just really excited to take every day in. There's an event every day, and we're excited to take it in and be a part of it.
Yeah, the same, Noah. You know, starting this weekend with the road races and the vault on Wednesday, and then all the way through to next week. We got a feast of running and track and field to look forward to. So we're just looking forward to the experience. Our first time being here, so it's exciting.
Yeah, and with the relays being the second largest track and field meet in the country, what are some of the things you heard about relays before coming to Drake?
I actually had the opportunity to run here when I was running professionally, so I got to experience it firsthand. I was not here for the full gamut of events, so I'm excited for that part to be a part. But I think, you know, the weather is something we always hear about. Right now it's looking good, so we're really excited about that. We've kind of paid our dues, and we're ready for some good weather and some good performances. But I think, you know, we're just excited to feel the energy and really see what it's all about.
Yeah, the same, Noah. We've heard about the top athletes that are coming in this year, and it's just going to be great to watch this level of track and field right here in Des Moines. Amy and I have been to a lot of championships around the world, and you know, a meet like the Drake Relays is right up there with some of the best, so it's going to be great just to have it right here on campus outside our door. Yeah,
and for you specifically, Amy, you ran here. Now you're coming back as a coach. What's the difference been like so far?
Well, you know, as a coach, it's on the other side of the fence, and not the one doing the work. So now I get to tell people what to do. So that's a little bit different. But I think, you know, it's as a coach, I still get nervous, but I'm nervous for my athletes. So you know, I'll be nervous throughout the 3 days of running events that we have for our athletes. But I think, you know, I have the luxury of taking it in a bit more. I don't have to sort of be in the zone as you do as an athlete. So looking forward to that, being a little bit more relaxed on that side of it.
Yeah, and so track and cross country, the difference between the two, right? There's long distance track, and then there's cross country. What's the differences specifically between the two, and with training as well?
Well, cross country is usually on grass for starters, and then track is obviously on a synthetic surface. Then with track, you got different event areas. You got throwing events, you got sprint events, jump events, multi events. So there's a lot of different event areas in track. Whereas cross country, it's a start line and a finish line in the field. So that's really the big difference.
Yeah, is there a difference in training as well with the athletes and how they prepare for each one?
In cross country, we do a little bit more volume because the distance it's one distance for everyone, and we're usually off the track in cross country season. We're usually out on the roads or out on softer surface, you know, trying to simulate the courses that we're going to go and compete on. But for track, we do a lot of our workouts on the track, and we break up the groups. Event specific, so a little bit more speed, a little bit more strategy involved, and you know, just a different dynamic on the track. It's definitely a little bit more intense than cross country.
And for both of you, you guys just finished your indoor season. Now you're heading into the outdoor season. How are the athletes warming up to the outdoor season and going outside?
Yeah, we've had a great start to the outdoor season. We were down in Arkansas about a month ago, and you know, kicked off the season there with some great performances. We took a 3-week training block specifically because we had the Drake Relays coming up, and then of course the NBC Championships and the NCAA West regional meet. We had Jim Duncan meet last weekend. After that 3-week training block, we had 14 event wins, 17 personal bests, and 1 school record. So overall, the team is in a good place right now. We head to Missouri this weekend, and then the relays next week. So I think we're ready.
Yeah, and oftentimes the relays I've heard is not quite the peak of the athlete. They're trying to peak right at the Missouri Valley Conference Championship season. Where do you think the athletes are in reference to their peak?
I think we're in the perfect place. You know, we've talked a lot about the weather as a team. Our athletes have handled the weather very well. They've stayed positive, and it looks like, you know, we're heading towards spring now, and they can really get outside and focus on their events. So I think we're not ready to be where we want to be at MVC, but we're exactly where we need to be in the season. every time we go out, we're getting PRs, and the energy is good, really positive, and we're just really proud of our athletes for kind of sticking it out the first part of this outdoor season, and we're really looking forward to the second half of the season.
And for the people watching, who or what should they be watching for? What are some of the things that viewer should be looking for?
Well, I think obviously, Blake talked about the shorter events. There's going to be some great performances out there. It looks like the weather's going to be good, and so you can't use that as an excuse. I think in the longer distance races, you have to kind of see how those play out, and usually you'll have a group that pulls away. We have some great athletes coming in on the collegiate level and the professional level, so I think all the races are going to be exciting. Each one is a little bit different. Some are shorter, some are longer, and you just have to stay around and see what happens at the end.
Yeah, from a Drake perspective, Noah, we have some athletes that have been performing at a very high level. Mary Young in the 100 hurdles was second in the MBC indoors, and she started outdoors on a great note. We have Claude Masabera, his freshman from Zimbabwe, who won the MBC indoors in his first meet for Drake, and he's going to be jumping. And we have Kevin Kelly from Ireland. He came in January as well, a 3:43 1500 meter runner, so right around 4 minutes. So we have a lot of athletes from the Drake perspective that we're excited to see what they can do, and it would be great to see if we could pick up a Drake Relays title from one or more of our athletes.
Yeah, and we actually just saw Mary Young in a package that we just played. How has Mary Young been? She's a senior this year. It's her 7th relay. She's a veteran of the relays. Overall, how has her season gone so far?
She's been performing really well. Each meet she gets a little bit better. You can see the confidence growing, and she really rises to the occasion for the relays, as we know. So, we're looking for great things for her, and, we're just hoping that she continues on the rise that she's been on. So we're very excited.
What are some of the things that you guys are most excited for the relays?
Well, I'm excited. The weather looks good. And I think, just in general, taking it all in and just being a part of it. And, for us to say we're part of the Drake family now, it's kind of a big deal. So we're excited to get this first one kicked off.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see our athletes competing on such a high level. The level that our athletes will compete here is as high as they're going to come across in college athletics. So it's just going to be great to see our athletes go out and perform on that stage next week.
Yeah, and it's a difficult stage. What's one piece of advice that you'd give to your athletes going in there next weekend?
I think obviously their excitement level is going to be super high, and adrenaline's going to really be high. So I think just taking that all in and really focusing on the task at hand, whatever event you're in, just focus on that. Try to push all the screaming and the cheering away, and just really focus on what you're doing and be in the moment, and then you can take it all in after your event's over.
Yeah, exactly. Just be confident. The work is done. Be calm. I tell the athletes it's a 400-meter track just like anywhere else. It's just a higher level of competition and a bigger crowd, but the work is done, and just go have fun and enjoy it.
Well, it sounds like a great piece of advice, and I appreciate you both coming in here today, taking time out of your schedules preparing for the relays, and so thank you. And I'm going to send it over to Angelica and Emma.
You can catch the Drake Track and Field team when the relays events officially begins on Wednesday, April 25th. If you can't make it to the Blue Oval, check out the U.S. Track and Field Relays live stream.
But the relays events begin even earlier than next Wednesday. Don't miss street painting tomorrow, the Drake Road Races, and the beautiful Bulldog Contest on Sunday, and the Grand Blue Mile on Tuesday.
We'll be back with more coverage of the Drake Relays on Thursday, April 26th at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.